Hello everyone, my name is Nelly Natasha. Welcome to our new episode of the SACCO Voice. Today I'm with FA John Mwangi, EBS, the CEO and the Managing Trustee of the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Welcome, Mr. Mwangi.
Thank you very much, Nelly. My name is FA John Mwangi. I'm the CEO and Managing Trustee of Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. This is a state corporation under the Ministry of National Treasury, mandated with the responsibility of receiving unclaimed financial assets from various institutions, both public and private. And when we receive these assets, we safeguard. That means we hold them on trust on behalf of the beneficiaries. And then proactively, we look for the owners of these assets and reunite them with their assets for their socio-economic prosperity.
Thank you so much. What are the broad categories of the unclaimed financial assets?
So as you have heard from mandate, they are financial in nature. So that means it's cash or near cash assets. So this will be assets like a dormant account in banks, dormant accounts in SACCOs, dividends that have been paid or issued but not cashed by their owners or investors, shares that are generating these dividends, both from quoted companies and unquoted companies. We have got pensions, people who have retired and haven't gotten their pensions. We have got utilities, monies from utilities. Those could be our water deposits, electricity deposits, or mobile monies. Today we know mobile money is a very active channel of exchange, and we have lots of those monies coming in. We also have what we call vouchers, gift vouchers. You get a gift voucher, but then you don't cash that voucher for a given period of time. It becomes unclaimed assets. And then also insurance. You take an insurance policy, it matures, and within 2 years you've not cashed, it becomes unclaimed assets. So assets become unclaimed when they are due to be distributed to the owner, but the person holding that asset, the holding institution, is not in touch with the owner within a defined time period in law. And this ranges from 1 year being the shortest period, that is for salaries and wages. So somebody has been working for a SACCO or for any institution, and then they have left the service of that institution, and within 1 year, they have not received their asset. Then that asset become unclaimed assets. Bulk of them are 2 years, between the time the owner loses touch with the holder, and then 3 years is for the dividends, shares, and also safe deposit boxes in the bank institutions. And then you have got gift vouchers and bank or SACCO dormant accounts that are 5 years. So assets become unclaimed after either 1 year, 2 years, 3 or 5 years, in which period the owner of the asset and the holder are not in touch. So the law requires the holder to identify those assets in their records, remit the cash in central bank. We have got a trust fund account in central bank, and bring the reports to the authority. And then for us, we upload those reports in our website, in our USSD code, and we invite members of public to check. You can check on our USSD platform, that is *361#, or you can go to our website, www.ufaa.go.ke, and check if any asset, either for you or for your loved one, has been reported to us, and then we'll guide you on the claim process and unite you with the assets.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And what are you doing together with SACCOs to raise awareness among the SACCO members about these unclaimed financial assets?
Yes, we're in partnership with the SACCOs, actually through SASRA in particular. That's the regulator for the deposit-taking SACCOs, and the Ministry of Cooperatives and Development, that's for non-deposit-taking SACCOs. And for us is to leverage on the network of the SACCO memberships, that when SACCOs have forums, members can be sensitized or educated about unclaimed assets. So number one is to let the members of the SACCOs check if any assets have been reported by their SACCO to us or their beneficiaries. That's number one. And number two is also to educate the SACCO members on how to ensure that they are in touch with their SACCOs by providing the relevant KYC and making sure that their accounts are active at the SACCO level, so that at no point in time that the SACCO lose touch with the members for the monies to come to us. So it's two front. One is to educate the members, because money could come for the members, not necessarily from SACCOs, maybe from the banks, could come from the listed companies, could come from pensions, could come from insurance, and they are the same members. So invite them to check if any money has come and how to claim. And number two, that they keep their KYC documents, update your next of kins and your up-to-date contacts with the SACCOs, so that in case you are not there, then all your details are with the SACCO and your assets don't become dormant. Because first of all, it's dormancy before it's unclaimed.
Mr. Mwangi, you mentioned that you're working with SASRA. Does that mean you're only working with the regulated SACCOs?
I said we're working with SASRA and the ministry for the non-regulated SACCOs. So because we feel SACCO as a movement is one of the big sectors and is one of the touch points with the financial assets. People have got savings there, deposits and savings, and when they are not there, then those monies are being remitted here to us as unclaimed assets. And for us, we would wish that those members get their benefits right from the SACCOs before it comes to us. And when it comes, then you've got a contact point. That's either through the regulator, SASRA, or the ministry for non-deposit taking SACCOs.
Okay, and what policies do you have to ensure inclusivity in the SACCO sector, especially those SACCOs serving marginalized communities?
So our policy is to actually ensure we have all the holders of unclaimed assets under our armpit, because our law under Section 3 has defined who a holder is, and is saying that a holder is any legally incorporated entity. Okay, so either through the SACCOs Act, through the Company or Limited Liabilities Act, or through the NGO, whatever form of creation that creates you to give you a legal body, then potentially you are our holder. And for us, we've got a policy on holders engagements, and that's why we go ahead and also segment those holders into their respective sectors, and then engage them at that sectoral level for efficacy and for more, I would say, focused engagements at the sector specific. So SACCO is one of them, and we deal a lot with them, always in their forums. Even Cusco is the umbrella body for the SACCOs, also engaging with them to see to it that we reach as far and wide as possible to wherever those SACCOs are. And we am happy through this session. I'm sure you are going to broadcast this to the SACCOs through Cusco, and I'm sure we are going to engage more with these institutions. So we have what we call a sector-based approach in each of our holders. So we cluster the holders into their various sectors, and then now look for the lead partners in those sectors, and then engage with those partners to reach to those people to their lowest point.
What measures have been put in place to ensure there is no abuse and mismanagement of the financial assets, especially with SACCOs management?
So number one is that for us as an authority, we have got our mandate, and our mandate kicks in upon dormancy. Okay, so we might not be very much concerned with active accounts, because those ones, they are being dealt at the SACCO level or at the institutional level based on the policies that they have in place. So for us, our sensitization mainly is on how to avoid accounts being dormant. And we know most of these frauds or most of these malpractices in most institutions, they happen on dormant accounts. So for us, we are sensitizing the institutions to come up with the proper and sound internal control systems. Make sure that if an account goes dormant, then that account is flagged in the system such a way that before any transaction can take place in that account, there are some requisite approvals that should be sought from the highest level in the highest office. And this is to ensure that only the rightful owners or beneficiaries of these assets are entitled to their benefit. So we assist these people in coming up with policies, process and procedures of strengthening the internal control systems to ensure there is no malpractices. We also help them to strengthen their governance, their corporate governance, see to it that the right leadership is in place, and the continuous training of these people, both the staff and the leadership, on the emerging issues in the financial services sector, including now the unclaimed assets. Okay, how do they become about, and how do they look for their owners? And also we carry out audits, inspection of the records of the holders, sampled out holders, because we may not have the ability to do audit all the SACCOs in the country. There are thousands of these SACCOs, so there are some that we go and audit, and whatever we find in our audits is what now we share with the regulator as our findings, and then the same is cascaded to other SACCOs to strengthen the internal controls processes.
Okay, I would also like to understand what are the legal consequences that befall SACCOs or entities that fail to submit the unclaimed financial assets within the required time frame.
So our act is very clear under section 33 of the UFAA Act. It stipulates a number of penalties that are applicable both for the institution, that's the SACCO, and also for the leadership of the SACCO for non-compliance. So section 31 of our act, that's Unclaimed Financial Assets Act number 40 of 2011, under section 31 gives us powers to go and examine records of an institution or any holder whom we reasonably believe is not complying with our act. And when you come and inspect your books and we find any unclaimed assets, then section 33 kicks in, which has got a lot of penalties, about 3 penalties. Number 1 is you pay a fine of up 25% of the value of the assets that we identify. Number 2, we penalize you a daily rate for non-compliance, ranging from 7,000 shillings to 50,000 shillings per day that you did not submit the assets. Number 3, there is also a rate that's pegged on CBR. CBR now is at 12.75, so we add 1%, so that comes to 13.75 per month per annum, again for non-compliance. And then also there is a penalty for the accounting officer, okay, a civil jail of up to 1 year, and also a fine of up to 1 million. So you can see those are very stiff penalties that crystallize for any SACCO or any institution for that matter that does not comply with the act. And that's why for us we are very aggressive in sensitizing the institutions so that we look for a partnership or a way whereby we try to avoid this path of penalties, because we find they are quite punitive and they take time to enforce. So that's why we are aggressive in awareness and sensitize the institutions on what they require to do to avoid being a victim of this non-compliance. But the act is very clear on the applicable penalties or consequences for non-compliance.
Sitting at the topmost seat at the UFAA, what challenges do you face in monitoring and enforcing compliance within the SACCO sector?
So the first challenge we encounter is low levels of awareness. Most institutions still do not appreciate what our mandate is. And when somebody doesn't know what you do, who you are, it becomes hard or a challenge to interact on the mandate. So we have got low levels of awareness that we are working on, intensifying our awareness so that we're able to reach to as many corners of the country as possible and let the people know what our mandate is. Number 2, we have got the issue of capacity. We only 32 staff dealing with the hundreds of thousands of potential institutions holding these unclaimed assets. SACCOs themselves, there are over 5,000 SACCOs in the country. So with a staff complement of 32 spread across all the 9 departments, then we are very thin on the ground to disseminate our mandate. And to deal with that, we are working on having more capacity. We just got approval to increase our capacity from 32 to 112. That for us is a good achievement. And we also look forward to have some regional offices so that we can have touch points where we can be able to reach to our potential holders and even our claimants. And also we are working on automation to leverage on ICT to see to it that you are able to be as efficient as possible. And the other challenge is that people don't want to come for their money. Okay, that's a very big challenge I'm having here. I'm holding billions of money for people, and kids can't go to school, families can't afford maybe medical bills, even food on the table, but they are not aware what we do. And that's why we are also quite aggressive in asking people to come and check if you have unclaimed assets, and when you find, we reunite you with your asset. So I would say those are some of the challenges and the legal framework. The legal framework we have is not very facilitative, especially on the claimant side, where we are saying that the law does not differentiate a small claimant and a big claimant. Treats all of them as one. And we have done some legal proposal amendments to make it easy, especially for low value claims, that once we identify you with the most basic mode of identification, we just pay you your money through the mobile phone and be able to reunite you with your money.
How does UFAA ensure that the submission or forfeiting of the unclaimed financial assets by the SACCOs does not interfere with the financial stability of the SACCO?
Yeah, so what we do here is number one, the fact that the SACCO is holding monies for you, and the SACCO has lost touch with you, and then you come and claim your money, because you can claim your money from the SACCO or from the authority. Because what happens that when the money leaves the SACCO and comes to us, it means as the owner of the asset, it's the point of claim that will change. Okay? Instead of you claiming from the SACCO, you come and claim from us. I don't think that in any way can interfere with the financial stability of the SACCOs. Okay? And so for us, because we are saying this money belongs to the members, okay, and members in the SACCOs can access their monies as and when they want them. Eh? So for us is to encourage the SACCOs to be in touch with their members. Because as long as you can demonstrate in touch with your member, then at no point will that money leave your books to come to our books. But in terms of stability, I don't think, because as a member you can go and claim your money from the SACCO. I don't think that will affect the stability of the SACCOs. So for us is to sensitize the SACCOs on how to be able to be in touch with their members. The only time the stability can be affected is when you are not complying. Because now if you are not complying and we find you non-compliant and those penalties crystallize, then that means the SACCOs have now to go to their books over and above the members' contributions and pay for those penalties. So that's why for us we are sensitizing them as much as possible, being compliant with the law to avoid non-compliance risk, because that risk can be very punitive. Can you imagine today if you came to a SACCO, today is our 10th year of compliance, and we find a SACCO that has never complied for the last 10 years, and we impose you a penalty of 50,000 shillings per day. So you can imagine how many those days are. If you multiply that by 50, that can even make a SACCO to shut down. Okay? Or even 7,000, the lower one, still is a lot of money. So that's why for us, our message, and we, with our partners as Cusco, SASRA, and the ministry, is ensure the SACCOs comply with this act to avoid non-regulatory risk. And that we cut across any compliance, not just to UFAA. So I think it's good that the SACCOs have strong internal controls, have a very robust risk management or risk department that keeps you abreast with the emerging regulatory framework and ensure you're in compliance to avoid such a risk.
Now we have come to the end. In conclusion, I would like to ask you, how do you see the role of UFAA evolving, especially in relation to the SACCO sector in future?
So I see UFAA evolving broadly and working very closely with the SACCOs. And number one, I look forward to a situation where we can actually pay more of these assets through the SACCO platforms. Okay, SACCOs are becoming quite innovative. They are becoming integral and part and parcel of their financial systems in the country. So I'm looking forward where right now we do have SACCO as one of the platforms that we can pay back people their benefits, but it's not as robust as maybe having the banks or even the mobile monies. So I look forward as to where we can partner with the SACCOs and see to it that we pay this money back to the members, especially that is coming from the SACCOs. Money comes from SACCOs, then pay back also. We pay back through the SACCOs. I'm also seeing a lot of partnerships in terms of awareness, in terms of financial literacy, whereby both the authority and the SACCOs can keep sensitizing the members on the need for financial literacy, so that you are in touch with your monies wherever they are. I'm also seeing cases where SACCOs can also come with more products and more services, so that we move away from the traditional deposits and have other robust products, so that the members are incentivized to always be in touch with the SACCOs. And also perhaps see, as the regime deepens, UFAA, in terms of the social good or a social responsibility, what is it that we can do with the SACCOs as a way of giving back to the society? And as an authority, that's a policy we are working on globally. How can these unclaimed assets be of beneficial to the society at large? And we do hope that SACCOs will be one of those partners that we work with in coming up with that policy, and also having these assets being beneficial to the sector and also to the general public.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. Now I'd like you to give one word to our viewers.
So for the viewers, we are happy you are watching us wherever you are. UFAA, in partnership with Cusco, is pleased to be in this partnership. We invite you to check if you have any unclaimed financial assets, and if you do have, please come forward. You can check whether you have unclaimed assets, star 361 hash on your phone wherever you are, star 361 hash. Check if it unclaimed assets come to you for us, we'll pay you back. And in the meantime, I encourage you to visit your SACCOs and see to it that your account is active, so that those assets don't become unclaimed. So thank you very much, and wish you all the best in whatever you do.
We've come to the end of our interview with FA John Mwangi, EBS, the CEO and the Managing Trustee of the Unclaimed Financial Assets. My name is Nelly Natasha. See you again on the next episode. Thank you.